Their concept of peace is the same as Muhammad and Saladin, a coin one must pay to achieve something else. What's that something else? The destruction of Israel. How? Vis-a-vis peace. Peace for us means the destruction of Israel. This peace that Hamas all of a sudden is talking about for 10 years, or that Daniel prophesies for 7 years, will be the catalyst to then destroy, or at least attempt to destroy. They won't succeed. God will intervene, but they will attempt to destroy Israel after they make peace with Israel. And isn't it interesting that in Ezekiel 38, when this allied attack comes against Israel, they have let their walls down. They have let their guard down. How many of you know about the wall that Israel has been building to keep the terrorists from, coming in? And I don't like suicide bomber. They're homicide bombers. They're murderers. They're terrorists. They're evil. And by the way, let me just go on record and say that Islam is not a peace-loving religion. Islam is the antithesis of everything that Christianity is. Islam is a religion of hate. Islam has at its core the annihilation, the extermination, the termination of the nation Israel. And it will stop at nothing until it accomplishes it. Now, having said that, I find it interesting that the prophet Daniel describes this man. He's called the Antichrist. He will come on the scene. He will confirm a peace agreement. It will last for 7 years, which will be this 7-year tribulation. And then once Israel has accomplished peace, finally, so they think, and Islam has deceived them into thinking that this is peace, so they think, then all hell, quite literally, breaks loose. And isn't it interesting? Again, the prophet Daniel in chapter 8, the first part of verse 25 describes this. He says, and through his policy, the Antichrist's peace policy, he shall cause craft to prosper. What's to prosper? To prosper. What's craft? Craft, deceit, very crafty, very deceitful, deceiving them into thinking that they want peace when in fact peace for them again means the destruction of Israel. He will cause craft or deceit to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart. And watch this, by peace shall destroy many. That's Muhammad. Made peace with his enemies, then destroyed them. That's Saladin after him. Made peace with his enemies and then destroyed them. This is Islam. This is the prophet Daniel describing a form of Islam. I believe it's very possible that he is. One last thing, and then we'll get into our study in the book of Acts. I find it interesting that in the book of Revelation, those who are not caught up in the rapture will go through the tribulation, and it's still possible that they can accept Christ. But they can't accept the mark of the Antichrist in their forehand or in their forehead. Now, those who reject the mark of the Antichrist will be beheaded. Now, I used to think, they'd pull out the guillotine and stick their head in the, whatever they call it, and bring the thing down and off with the head. Sorry, that was a little graphic, but that's not what it is. Have you noticed recently there has been a resurgence of beheadings at the hands of the Muslims? Did you know that beheading is a sacred Muslim practice? And it's not a guillotine. They use a sword, the symbol of Islam. And what do? They take the sword and they behead them slowly. I'm not going to try to get too graphic here, but they behead them. It is a command. Smite ye above their neck, it says in the Quran. They are, like we have commands in the Bible, they have commands in the Quran. Our commands in the Bible are love one another. Their commands in the Quran are kill them. Kill all of them, all of the infidels. There are, some believe, over 120 verses in the Quran that incite terrorism, to strike terror in the hearts of Christians and Jews. Did you know that you're the enemy? You're the enemy. Have a nice afternoon. If you're a Christian, you're the enemy. If you're a Jew, you're the enemy. If you're an American, you're the great Satan. If you're a Jew in Israel, you're the little Satan. That's how Islam views Christianity and Judaism. And so I believe it's very possible that what the prophets of old are describing for us are certain events that will take place that look an awful lot like what Islam is all about. And I see it taking place and being fulfilled right before our very eyes. Paul, writing to Timothy, said that God has not given us a spirit of fear. I pray that when we do these updates, as graphic as they might be, as intense as they might seem, that you don't have fear in your heart. He's not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So please, this is not something to be afraid about. This is something actually to rejoice about. Why? Because when you see these things begin to come to pass, know that they have to come to pass in order for the end to come. You know, I don't know about you, but I've been watching how the United States, it seems like just since the beginning of this year, has started to decline. I mean, rapidly. I look at the declining value of the US dollar on the world markets. I look at all of the things that are taking place. And you know, if you're not looking at it through a biblical perspective, you can become very afraid. And men's hearts will fail them for fear, it says. But you know, if you look at it from a biblical perspective, you say, you know what? I don't see the United States in Bible prophecy. So maybe this needs to come to pass so that the end will come. If anything, you know what this should do? It should loosen our grip on this world and the things of this world, because soon they'll be passing away. And it's not long, I believe, though we should be as ready for the rapture as if it were not for 10 years, as we are today, as if it were this afternoon. We should occupy till he comes, but I submit to you, he's coming very soon. He's coming very soon. Everything's coming together. Ezekiel 38, every day is coming together. Zechariah 12, every day it's being fulfilled. Daniel 9, Daniel 8, every day it's being fulfilled. Right before our very eyes. Let's pray.